Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to day two. You know what? I'm just going to be exiting out of my screen here because there we go. Okay, how are you guys doing? Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to day two. And thank you for sticking with me throughout the 4 days. The more you honestly come on here live and experience the information, ask your question, and be immersed in the material that I'm sharing with you, the more you will benefit, the more you will take away for yourself, and the more you can start to implement. So we're just going to be waiting a few more seconds here for others to hop on and say hello in the chat. Um, Super excited for this day. Honestly, the channels of detoxification pathways, it's one of my favorite topics um, because we are not paying too much attention to it on a regular basis. So we hear a lot about detox in the sense of, we have to go on a liver detox or we have to go on a colon cleanse or candida cleanse or whatever it is. And though that might be helpful and necessary in some instances, we don't think about the daily detox that our bodies need to go through and the way we can support our bodies to daily detox because we are bombarded with toxins and internal and external toxins, which we'll be talking about today on a regular basis. And so it only makes sense to support our bodies daily also to help our body to detoxify these things on a regular basis, which means then if we do that, we truly support our body to decrease inflammation long term. And this is our goal. So I have jumped ahead a little bit. Number one, the first thing I want to say is I want to say thank you for everybody who messaged me yesterday. I got a lot of feedback around the gut health day one, which was amazing. I'm so happy to hear that it really resonated with you and that you learned something new. So I want to share one question that I got because I think it might be really helpful for a lot of you guys in here. And then I'm going to be just giving you a little bit of an overview of what we're doing today and some housekeeping items again. And so that you know what you can do in order to win the wonderful giveaway that I am revealing today. So super happy for that. Day two of our 4 day series. It's an amazing event. You will learn a lot. And what I will do first is I'm gonna share the question that came in because it might be helpful around gut health. So I had somebody reach out to me yesterday, and she said the problem with the fiber, because we talked a lot about fiber yesterday and the importance of it. The problem that she's experiencing with the fiber intake is that regardless of what type of fiber she's consuming right now, it's just going to make her bloat up. It's just making her feel so uncomfortable. She can't even imagine eating all of this fiber right now. So how can she introduce those fibers if her body is not liking it? That is a really, really good question because I see that happening all the time. So, this is typically with women, of course, who are experiencing SIBO at this moment in time and who have been on antimicrobials for an extended period of time. The gut microbiome that we talked about is not in a place to handle this fiber. So, I will say, and then also for those of you guys who are experiencing dysbiosis because you have been eating or you have been taking a lot of antibiotics or you have been on a restricted diet for a very long time, it is very difficult to reintroduce these foods when you go quickly because you will have to make sure first that you are, that your digestion and absorption is working well, especially your elimination. You want to make sure that you're not being backed up. You need to have to go to the bathroom regularly, fully, in order to be then able to increase that fiber amount. So there's different strategies that I'm going to be discussing with my clients, but I just wanted to let you guys know that if you're experiencing that, you have to go really slow on the fiber. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to be increasing my fiber to like 30, 40 grams. It's not working that way. It's just going to make you blow up. So you'll have to intuitively go back to your body and see how far you can take it, and maybe work with your healthcare practitioner in order to see how slowly you'll have to reintroduce those fibers in order to rebuild your microbiome. Okay. So that was the number one question that came in, and I really wanted to share that with you guys here. Some housekeeping items. Today, on day 2, we are going to be talking about detox pathways. I'm going to give you a lot of information. I'm going to be sharing um, um, a slide show with you. So I'm going to be sharing some slides with you so you can follow along and maybe write down the notes, right? I also encourage you to take out your workbook today and take some notes in the reflection page that I offered in here. Um, so it's really a lot of information I'm going to be sharing, and I want you to write these things down so that they don't slip your mind, and you can always go back to it by using your workbook. If you don't have your workbook, make sure that you're reaching out to Helen in my Facebook group. She can provide you with it, or register still in the link in my bio on Instagram, and so then you can get the workbook for the seminar, which will be really, really helpful for you. Um, so what I will be doing today is we're going to be going through the slideshow. I will be pausing every once in a while to ask you if you have any questions. And I will also share with you like a graph that I have created that will explain to you and show you visually what it means, what in my opinion and in my experience, um, how autoimmune health is being created, the pillars that I constantly teach under. I'm going to give you visuals so you can see how it all fits together and if that makes sense to you. And this might be helpful for you to implement certain strategies under each pillar if you have like the bird's eye perspective of it. Okay, so I will do that first. Um, in terms of what you can do during the next 4 days is listen to the sessions, take your notes, and then post your homework. So I'll be sharing homework with you daily, regularly, and I will post a homework thread in the Facebook group in which you can then enter your homework that you're doing, and you can win a giveaway. So if you complete your homework every day under the homework thread and over there on Instagram, you can also complete the homework under the videos, or you can just send them to me in the DM. It'll all count, and then you will be included in the draw in the bucket to win a giveaway. And the giveaway that I'm giving out this time, I have decided I am giving a prebiotic powder and a probiotic from Microbiome Labs, which is it's a company that I love, that I've been using. There's a lot of research behind those products, so I'm super excited to give that away to the lucky winner. So put in the homework, and stay engaged and ask questions, and you will um, be able to maybe win that wonderful giveaway. Okay. All right. So today, let's get started. We are going to be talking about detox pathways. So yesterday we talked a lot about gut, and I got a lot of questions. Oh, and one more thing also that I wanted to share with you again is that during the next 4 days, during the seminar, the next 4 days, I am opening up my calendar for you guys. So I have 15 to 20-minute time slots available in which if you want to, you can hop on a call with me and we can hatch out a strategy for you specifically how you can make the information that I share every day work for you specifically. Because just like I shared that question from that lady who said, I cannot eat the fiber because my body's reacting to it. What can I do? I can help you create some strategies that gets you started right away in order for you to rebuild that microbiome, right? So we can do that in a one-on-one session, which is free. It's complimentary. It comes with this seminar. So I'm super happy to be, offering that to you. So I will be dropping my link to the calendar in the comments, and feel free to reach out and we can hop on a call and we can just discuss how you can make this autoimmune thriving roadmap work for you. Okay, so really, really good. Now let's get started. What I will do today is I will share my screen with you. So for everybody here on Facebook, you will see it directly. For you ladies on Instagram, I will post the YouTube video. So then in the replays, you can watch the slides and listen to what I have to say about the slides. And for now, I'm just going to be walking you through it and you won't be able to see the slides, but you can go back to the replays and hit the slides. Also, if you do watch this day two in the replays, do hashtag replay so I know that you're watching and that you're engaged and that I can reach out and maybe ask you some questions around how this resonated with you. So hashtag replay or hashtag live. All right. And now let's get started. I'm going to be screen sharing this first. Okay. So here we go. From existing to living. So this is what we're doing here this week. This is what that's the reason why I created this seminar. Okay. Um, I call it the Autoimmune Thriver method. There's a certain methodology behind getting to a point where you can actually thrive with your autoimmune. It's it feels almost as if you go from existing with your the disease to living and then even thriving with it. And what I have learned in my past history living with Hashimoto's thyroiditis and PCOS and supporting many women with it is that there's three pillars of health that need to be addressed um, under the umbrella of mindset, which I'll be talking about in a second. If you want to get there, if you want to get to the other side. So, how that individually looks under each pillar is very different for everybody. It's not the same. It can be, but most of the times it's not because everybody has a different health story, everybody has a different history. And so, everybody needs slightly different tweaks and changes in their diet, in their lifestyle, and what we can do therapeutically with foods and supplements and such. However, you get from existing to living by incorporating number one, a whole food based lifestyle diet. So, gut health, which we talked about yesterday, is super, super important. It's the number one thing that you'll have to focus on. Hello, Georgia. Everybody's hopping on. Say hello. Let me know how you are this morning. So everybody who wants to get from existing to living and then thriving needs to navigate under those three pillars. So whole food based lifestyle diet is key. And I say whole food based because we are actually really living a very processed food based lifestyle these days. So the value of nutrient density, abundance, and diversity we talked about yesterday, and how that plays a role in your autoimmune and chronic inflammation. Very important. That is basically the foundation of the triangle. It's a triangle for those of you on Instagram. So the two sides that we're talking about next are a purposeful detox. That is what we're doing today. We're talking about detoxification pathways, exit routes, as well as systems. And then the other side is stress management, managing stress and lifestyle choices, managing stress in under the umbrella of cortisol and how it wreaks havoc on your blood sugar, um, managing stress, managing your adrenal health, managing all of these things, supporting your adrenal health, really dialing in on your circadian rhythm, on your stress response, on cortisol rise. All of these things are going to be critical in order to keep your body in a balanced state. So those are the three main pillars that everybody has to address if you want to go get to the other side. And then there's the big circle around it, which is the mindset piece. So that is really um, it's almost if the mindset if the right mindset is not in place, then you can do everything you want under those three pillars and you will see some results, but your mindset can override everything. So it's something that we're going to be talking about in day 4, which I'm really excited about. It's a really good topic. Okay, so this is just to give you a visual of what we're doing in the 4 days and to navigate you through. And now I'm going to be sharing. Hold on. I'm going to go back to slide number 1 here. Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the second pillar, which is detoxification. Detoxification becomes incredibly important with autoimmune disease because we are having a high turnover of damaged cells in our body that we need to detoxify. And we are also exposed to a lot of toxins outside of us. So we're going to be talking about, let me just move through this. Um, what we're going to be talking about is number 1, I'm going to guide you, I'm going to lead you through the sources of toxins. So there's different types of toxins that we are having to be aware of. So because both of those different types of toxins we can tackle in different ways and how they are causing damage in your body. Number 2, I'm going to be sharing with you the channels of elimination, which are the exit routes out of your system so that your toxic load will decrease. Number 3, I'm going to be sharing with you the internal cleansing systems. So that is something, it's a little bit different than the channels of elimination because the internal cleansing systems, they don't have an exit route. The internal cleansing systems are equally important because they clean and cleanse your body within and prep everything to get ready for elimination through the channels of elimination. So we'll talk about that. So you know the difference between the channels of elimination and the internal cleansing systems. And by the way, also what something that you can fill in the blanks, okay? So I have lined out the internal cleansing systems here so that you know exactly which systems are cleansing you on a daily basis. And number 4, I will give you then what we'll all come here for is some practical tips on supporting detoxification on all levels. All right. So that you can actually become actionable. You can start to take action and you can start to see changes happening in your body. Okay, so let's get started with this. Okay, so sources of toxins. Let me Number 1, let me see if there's any questions in the Facebook group for now, or if everything is clear. If you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to put them in the chat and ask them. Okay, I don't see any right now, so I'll just go right ahead. Okay, perfect. All right. Okay. So sources of toxins. First, we need to know where are those toxins coming from so that we understand and that we can actually take the right action. Oops. Okay, so there's actually 2 types of toxins that we're dealing with chronic inflammation. Number 1, they're called endogenous. That is the one group of toxins. Endogenous, the other group of toxins are exogenous. Okay, so let's start with the endogenous. So, like the name already reveals a little bit, it's internal. So, endogenous means internal toxins that are actually produced by your body itself, either by your microbiome, by your bacteria, or by metabolic processes. So there's different types of endogenous toxins that your body is creating. And though it is a byproduct and we do it on a regular basis and it's a natural occurrence, if inflammation rages through your body, if the cell turnover in your body is heightened, and your detoxification pathways are sluggish, and not ridding your body of those byproducts, they accumulate in your body and cause extra damage. So, we are talking number one about byproducts of intestinal microorganisms. So, when you think about those bacteria, we talked about that a little bit yesterday, is that those bacteria that live and thrive in your gut, they are actually they are working with one another. So they are contributing to metabolic function by talking with one another and actually helping you to metabolize um, your food, to digest your food. And so those microorganisms, they are actually purging byproducts, waste, so to speak, in your intestinal system, and that needs to be purged, right? It's something that your body cannot use, and so it just naturally goes out of your system. Then we have the intermediary metabolites. So this is something when we look at liver. So we'll talk about the liver in a minute, but the liver detoxifies in different phases. And there's different phases that your liver is going through. And throughout the process of your liver detoxifying, like heavy metals and drugs and all kinds of different things. There is a phase where the metabolites are becoming very volatile. Between those two phases, I'll show a bit later. And those intermediate metabolites throughout the detoxification pathways in your liver, when they're in that state, they're becoming very unstable and they can cause a lot of damage on your cells. So that means if you don't have a nutrient dense diet, which is needed in order to help those intermediary metabolites to be pulled out of your system, if you're lacking certain nutrients, if you're lacking certain anti inflammatory nutrients and proteins and such, amino acids, those intermediary metabolites are starting to recirculate in your body. And that is why you see a lot of issues with the liver when we are liver enzymes going up, when we are really having a chronic inflammation going on, because that is something that's not working properly. Okay. Another endogenous toxin is our hormones, believe it or not. So, hormones are messengers in our bodies and they serve a purpose in providing our organs with certain messages that they have to do certain things. But those hormones, cortisol, and but also estrogen, for example, those hormones are actually being used up, and then those hormones are being detoxified through your liver. And so again, if your liver is sluggish, if your liver can't keep up with the incoming toxins because you're not eating a nutrient dense diet or because of other reasons, those hormones are not being able to be completely entirely detoxified out of your system. So, which means that you can actually experience some sort of hormonal responses that are establishing in your body because your detoxification pathways are not working 100%. So, that is something also to consider. Another thing that we should also consider is when we're talking about detoxification are honestly toxic emotions. That is something that cannot be underestimated, and we'll talk about that in day 4 a little bit. So, toxic emotions is something that can incredibly impact your gut health, as well as, of course, your emotional state. But the brain gut connection is real, and the physical level of response to toxic emotions and toxic memories and toxic thoughts is incredible. And it can also really increase the level of inflammation in your body when you are going through chronic inflammation, such in autoimmune. So, this is the one group of toxins that we're talking about when it comes to detoxification, the endogenous. So, I'm going to go to the next slide, to the exogenous. Okay. So that is the second group of toxins that we're talking about that we need to purge out of our system on a daily basis. So again, we're not talking about anything that, we do once a year or twice a year, even though that might be helpful. But we are talking about daily. What can we do daily in order to get rid of those exogenous, naturally occurring or synthetic toxins? Right? So, some of them, I'm just going to list some of them so you become aware of how much we're surrounded by. And also, though, I do want to say that I don't want to make you feel worried, or I don't want you to make, or I don't want you to feel, um, you know, you know, as if there's nothing you can do about it, and feel really sad that there's so much crap around you that you have to deal with in terms of exogenous toxins. You have those detoxification pathways and systems in place for you to be handling those. But when you are going through flares, or when you're not feeling well, you will have to support those detoxification pathways to get them out of their sluggishness so that they can actually start doing their work again. All right, it is possible. It is possible. So, exogenous, naturally occurring synthetic, we have um, animal and plant myotoxins. So, we have a lot of like in the animal kingdom and even out in nature, there's a lot of um fungi and a lot of microbes and pathogens that are coming our way, which is normal, and it's actually helping us to support our immune system long term, because our immune system is always guarding us and is always trying to keep us safe, and always kind of like seeing what's out there, and helping us to deal with what's coming into our body. However, if our immune system is not working properly, if it's already overburdened, those animal and plant biotoxins can actually be harmful. So that is why a lot of us, who have become ill because of a virus, have maybe a little bit more difficult time in dealing with this. So Epstein-Barr, for example, right, is something that has been shown to be a trigger in Hashimoto's. So that is something to consider. Then of course, we have heavy metals that we're surrounded with all the time. And again, like our body can detoxify it, but if there is an accumulation of heavy metals in our body, then we have issues. So it's always helpful to maybe know if there is some sort of heavy metal overload in your body, which you can easily do with hair mineral analysis. Hair mineral analysis can give you a really good idea of what your heavy metal status is right now, currently. And that is what I do for myself every year, and I also offer it to my clients, the hair mineral analysis, because it can give you a really good idea, and then you can detoxify it out. Then there's also, of course, drugs, medication. There's food toxins that are coming in on a regular basis. A lot of our food is being sprayed. A lot of our food have pesticides and fungicides on it. So we will have to be mindful around how we can actually nourish our body by diminishing or decreasing those food toxins that are incoming. Um, then we have EMFs is a really, really big topic these days. And I'm not going to go into it because it's a whole different topic in itself, but I encourage you to go into research and to look up EMFs and the effects that they have in terms of toxicity and creating imbalances in your body. But there's another thing, which is the skin products and the cleaning products. You have a lot of control over. You can make sure that you are using the right skin products, the right cleaning products for your house, that trying to decrease the amount of exogenous toxins that are coming into your life, right? Because in the end, it's about toxic load. I'm going to be talking about that next. So you don't have to get worried about every like about everything that is not 100% clean in your environment. Don't worry about that. Worry about the toxic load, and we'll be talking about that in a second. So the next slide is, how can toxins cause damage in your body? right? So there's different ways that those toxins cause damage in your body when you're experiencing them. So there's oxidative stress, free radicals, but I want to go a little bit more into the enzyme inhibition. So we know that the enzymes, right, the digestive enzymes, for example, you have heard about those before. You're probably taking some of them to help your digestion along. Um, and there's other enzymes that help your metabolism, that help your nutrients to be absorbed into cells. We talked about that. So enzymes are so incredibly important about when it comes to keeping you healthy. So the toxins can inhibit those enzymes and make them work less, which creates imbalances. They can also disrupt your endocrine system. So a lot of it has to do with hormones, right? So if you are experiencing any sort of imbalances when it comes to estrogen dominance or estrogen progesterone imbalances, it's definitely something to look at because exogenous toxins in particular have a really high impact on your endocrine health. So that is a really good area where you can start to make changes in order to support your body. And they can damage the cell membranes, right? And so when that happens, the cell membranes, then again, they become waste and they have to be then purged, right? The damaged cells. And again, if your detoxification pathways are sluggish, then those damaged cell membranes, they're just going to be accumulating in your body, causing more and more irritation. All right. So let me know. I'm just going to go back into my Facebook group and see if there's any questions, if that makes sense, what I've been saying here. Okay, I don't see any questions, so I think we're good to go. All right, Instagram, we're good to go? Yes. All right, perfect. Awesome. All right, I will continue then. Let me just take a little sip. Mm. So I hope this makes sense so far. So the key takeaway, really, what I really want you to be really mindful about and understand is it's the body burden that we're talking about. Okay. So it's the toxic load that we're talking about here, which means over a long period of time, small daily doses of multiple contaminants, like I just talked about, have cumulative detrimental effects on your physiological pathways that can then eventually impair and cause disease. So I want you to keep that in mind. So every little thing that you can do to decrease your toxic exposure, as well as to support your internal detoxification pathways and cleansing systems, will help you over a longer period of time to decrease the cumulative detrimental effect. You will start to shift your body back into balance by doing that. Okay. Again, prevention is better than cure. So if you do it on a daily basis, you are just helping your body to clean up the waste on a daily basis, which will continuously keep you healthy and stable long term. Um, okay, that is really the key takeaway that I wanted to share with you guys. Okay, so don't be worried about the things that you don't have control over, but be mindful and empowered over the things that you do have control over. Okay, so what can you do? You can limit the intake of harmful chemicals, right? So that is number one. That is very easy, very powerful. How can you do that? You can start to purchase organic meats and produce. Now, I understand that organic produce and meats are very expensive. And I understand that in our household, we are not entirely organic because, in my opinion, it's not entirely necessary for certain products to be organic. And those products are especially products that are local, um, grown by farmers that you have scouted out, that that you trust. And those products are more nutrient dense, generally speaking, than organic produce that has been shipped from thousands and thousands of miles away. All right, so that is something to consider. That was a question that came up yesterday. Do I eat everything organic? I do not, because it's not necessary. However, you want to make sure that the commercial food that you're eating, especially berries with a really soft skin, commercially grown, are very likely being sprayed. So if that is the case, then yes, opt for organic produce. Thoroughly wash your produce. Okay, there's a lot of stuff on the produce. There's a lot of the waxy stuff, and they put on the apples in order to make them look better, and have them have that shine on them. Thoroughly wash that off, because that is too, it's something that needs to go through your system. It's something that needs to be purged, and something that needs to be detoxified. Okay, so thoroughly wash your produce. um, Check the latest Dirty 12 and Clean 15 list. Every year, the EWG is bringing out a list of produce that have been rated for levels of pesticides on them. So it's definitely something to consider if you want to include organic. Just go by the Dirty 12, Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 list. Okay, that is a good place to start. Avoid processed foods, of course, and limit packaged foods. Cook with using non-toxic materials, right? So go into the kitchen and scout out what you have there in terms of cooking. Like, is there a non-scratch surface on your frying pans that can be very toxic in your body? And use filtered water for cooking, drinking, and showering. Those are easy to take steps that you can do on a regular basis. Okay, so now that you know the different types of toxins that can come in, the exogenous and endogenous, now we talk about our channels of elimination. So we know that these things are coming our way, and we can do certain things that we can keep them away out of our house, out of our lives, out of our body, but they will eventually come in, in a limited degree, maybe. So, what are the channels of elimination that your body has created in order to help you stay healthy? And by channels of elimination, I mean those are the channels are the ones with an exit route attached to them. Okay, so we're talking about the kidneys, we're talking about the skin, we're talking about lungs. Yes, so your lungs are actually a detox organ, believe it or not. We're talking about your bowels, and we're talking about your mind. So let me just see if there's any questions that I see, any comments. And let me know if this surprised you in any way. If there's anything that strikes you that you say, "Oh, wow, I didn't even think about that," right? As a channel of elimination. So, yeah, let me continue. So let's quickly go over the kidneys and how they help you, right, in that matter. So the kidneys, a quote unquote, the liquidation. So the kidneys help you, of course, to process certain toxins, and then they, help you purge them through urination. There's 180 liters of blood um, that flows through the kidneys every 24 hours, right? So it's really incredible. It detoxes hormones. Your kidneys detox hormones, they detox neurotransmitters, they detox vitamins, they detox phytochemicals, they detox drugs. All of these specific items are being detoxed by your kidneys. So, um, it's important to keep our kidneys. I'll talk about how to do that in a second. It excretes water soluble toxins and uric acid. It also excretes metabolites from phase two liver detox. So now this goes to show you how nothing ever is, separated body, right? So if your liver is working well and your liver is detoxifying what it does, but your kidneys are sluggish, then you have the issues that metabolites from phase two liver detox are being recirculated in your body, right? Because the kidneys are not doing very well. So Consume the 2 to 3 liters of clean water every day. Make a point in having your water every day. And it's not just said lightly, oh, I should drink my water. It is important for detoxification. There's certain herbs that you can also help your kidneys to move along, which is dandelion leaf, then you have nettle, you have horsetail, you have parsley, and watermelon. Those are all beautiful foods that you can use to support your kidneys. The other one is the skin. So the skin is also basically labeled as the third kidney. Believe it or not, it purges, it detoxifies 1 to 2 pounds of toxins a day. So we sweat, and with that sweat, we are detoxifying. We're just not just sweating there. I think I'm back. Okay. So yeah, so we detoxify fat soluble toxins, right? So it's really, really important. There's certain things that you can do in order to help your skin along daily. So um, another thing is that bidirectional. So your skin, works in a bidirectional way. So we can absorb a lot of stuff through your skin, which we should be mindful about what we are putting on our skin because it's absorbed very quickly and can add to the toxic overload, right? The body burden. But we can also understand that the skin is actually an organ, it's actually the largest organ in our body that can purge a lot of toxins at the same time. So we want to keep it clean. We want to keep it, and by clean, I mean open, um, breathable. We want to make sure that we detox our skin on a daily basis. How can you do that? You can do that by avoiding toxic products. You can skin brush daily. You can exfoliate your skin daily, and you can sweat it out. You can ensure that you sweat every day if, best case scenario, regularly to get those toxins out of your body. Sorry, excuse me, my throat. Um, so it is really, really important to think about that. There's hydrotherapy that your skin absolutely loves. So by hydrotherapy, I mean it's when you go in the shower and you can actually switch from cold to hot shower intermittently. And so that really helps your skin to be activated and to be open and the pores to open up and to start to purge more of the toxins. And now we're talking about the lungs, which is honestly such an important organ. It's opening the windows. It's like breathing out the toxins. Through the lungs, you have 1 to 2 pounds of toxins being detoxified daily. It purges the end product of body metabolites. And there are certain exercises that you can do in order to promote strong lungs. There was one thing that really struck me during the pandemic and the virus, how it was really affecting the lungs and the respiratory tract is, and we talked about that in school a lot too, is that the problem is nowadays is that we are not paying a lot of attention on our breathing. We are most of the time breathing in a very shallow way, which means that we are not exercising our lungs because our lungs need the exercise. They're a muscle. They need the exercise to you fully inhale and bring in the oxygen, but also exhale in order to purge the toxins. And so there is some exercises that you can do, and some deep breathing exercises that I teach my clients. You can also look them up online. There's box breathing. There is, all sorts of different types of breathing that you can do. But the point is that you will have to start to become mindful and in tune with whether you are deep breathing or not. There's even apps now that you can program that reminds you to take a deep breath, which is amazing. Okay. Having said that, I'm just taking in a deep breath because I was noticing that I was breathing shallow here myself. So really, really important thing to think about. So those are the channels of elimination. But let's talk about the internal cleansing systems. So really, the systems that help you cleanse your body from the inside, and then package it up, and send it to the channels of elimination. Right? Let me just see if there's any comments and questions coming in. Are we still good over here? Okay, we're still here, nothing over there. Okay, perfect. So, and that is something I really want you to write down in your workbook, which I have, you know, created for you guys. So your internal cleansing systems are number one, intestines, number two, lymphatic system, and number two, your liver. Okay. So those are your cleansing systems. And they can get overburdened because there is no exit route. So you'll have to make sure that you are daily supporting those cleansing systems for them to be able to do their work on a regular basis proficiently. Okay. So intestines, you might not think as your intestines as being one of your detoxification organs and cleansing systems, but they are. They are the first line of defense. So you can see how important the gut is, right? So yesterday we talked about the gut in the sense of inflammation and immune system and food sensitivities. Today, we're talking about the intestines, the gut, under the umbrella of detoxification. So you can see how important your gut is. It deals with 25 tons of food over your life. That is a lot of food that is coming in. And with it comes in pathogens and, um, and fungicides and pesticides like we talked about. Um, Also, what is really interesting, that is this for me, the nerdy science person, is that, you know, the liver detox enzymes. So your body needs enzymes, certain enzymes in order to detoxify inside your liver. Those enzymes are found in your mucosa of your gut lining. Isn't that incredible? So that means that your intestinal system also has a very strong detoxification um, function in your body. Okay. So when we talk about dysbiosis, so the imbalance of good and bad bacteria, there's unfriendly bacteria that can produce a specific enzyme that actually leads to recirculation of estrogen, which means that when your body's out of balance in a state of dysbiosis, you have an overgrowth or an imbalanced level of unfriendly bacteria, which in themselves can produce enzymes that are actually adding to your toxic load by helping recirculation of estrogens, which is not a good thing. And so you'll see the importance of keeping your gut in a really good place. How can you do it? So again, bowel detox, the biggest word for that is fiber. Okay, so fiber, fiber, fiber. But again, like I said in the beginning, if your bowels are not, or if your body is not in a position to actually digest fiber properly, go speak with your health practitioner so that you can make sure that you reintroduce fiber in a safe way so that you're not exploding, quote unquote. Okay. Another thing is probiotics. So that is a really good bowel detox. Again, if your state of balance in your gut is low, you will likely react to probiotics, to the supplementation, synthetic probiotics, as well as fermented foods, because you don't have the digestive strength to deal with this. So you have to take it slow, and you also have to make sure that you're getting good, potent probiotics that are really helping you and are not just a waste of money, that are just being purged out of your system. Okay, so speak with your healthcare practitioner about good probiotics that are specific for you, that have specific strains that help you in your gut health. So my giveaway is a really good probiotic that I love that has amazing strains in it, Microbiome Labs. So whoever is completing the homework this week will be getting those probiotics if their name will be John. And then lastly, we have the 5 R's of digestive healing, which is remove, replace, reinoculate, repair, and rebalance. So those are critical components to a strategic approach to gut health that I'm teaching my clients in my programs. So I'm not going to go into detail with that. Just know that there's 5 R's of digestive healing involved that you can look into for yourself. Now we're talking about the lymphatic system, which is the garbage collection. That is your cleansing system, which is the unsung hero. And I'm actually so excited because I have a lymphatic specialist come on, talk to me on my podcast. Super excited about that. And the also he will be coming into my group actually to hold a session on the lymphatic system, which I'm so super excited about. But anyways, for you guys here today, the lymphatic system is the garbage collection. It's something that we don't consider. Like it runs parallel to your blood vessels and your circulatory system for a reason. And the reason is that there's constantly metabolites that are being, you know, floating around in your body, in your blood, and then the lymphatic system is picking up those the waste materials that are not serving us, and it's bringing it into the lymphatic system, and it's flushing it through the lymphatic system, it's flushing it through the lymphatic vessels, it's taking it into your lymphoid in your not in your lymph nodes that you have in various places in your body, where it then neutralizes those toxins. So isn't that incredible that there's no exit pathway, but because of the immune system that is sitting in your lymph nodes, they are actually tackling those toxins right there and then neutralizing them, and then you're done with it. So lymphatic system is super important. How can you detoxify your lymphatic system? So a few things you can do. Number one is you can avoid poor posture, right? So make sure that you're straightening up your back, make sure that you are, getting up from when you've been sitting for too long to allow flow. Because there's one thing with the lymphatic system is that it doesn't have a pump. It needs to be stimulated manually. So you need to move your body regularly. You can't just sit all day and expect your lymphatic system to work properly. Another really good tip that I like to do that I really, that was a really good tip for me was to avoid tight clothing. So, us as ladies, when we're wearing our bras, usually, like we have the wire that sits right under our breasts, of course, and if they are too tight, this is exactly the area where you have lymph nodes sitting. They can really restrict your lymph nodes there. So it's a good idea, like when you get home after work or whenever you can, just take it off, take the bra off, and don't wear anything that restricts um your lymph nodes in that area. Okay, the last thing I want to say here is that really that up and down motion is going to be super, super helpful for you to increase lymphatic flow. So we're talking about rebounding on a rebounder, we're talking about a trampoline. If you have one of those beautiful big trampolines in your backyard that you can hop with your kids on, or even a small one. I had a client once and she bought like a little mini trampoline and jumped on that with her daughter. But even like skipping jump rope, or all of these things can help you with it. Okay. So this is about the liver. I'm not going to go into details with that. Just know that the liver detoxifies in two phases. And I just want to point out here that in the middle, the intermediary stage is what I talked about earlier, is where those substances that are coming into the liver are becoming highly reactive before they are being put into phase two, where they're being repackaged and then, purged as a waste product. Okay. So that is the only thing. There is a acronym that I love. And I heard that from another nutritionist many years ago. My number one tip acronym is PURE, which is spelled PURE. To keep that in mind on a daily basis and make sure that you hit each point. Number one, P for perspiration, sweating. Number two, urination. Make sure that you are, drinking your water, and make sure that you can go to the bathroom, that your urine is a lightly yellow color, right? It cannot be dark. If it's dark, 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 it means that you're not drinking enough liquids. If it's too clear, then you'll have to back off a little bit. Urination, respiration, the lungs, keep your lungs in mind, and excretion, right? So that is your intestinal health, your bowel movements, all of these things. Okay, so pure perspiration, urination, respiration, and excretion. So to summarize everything, so we have talked about the types of toxins. Then we have talked about the internal cleansing systems and pathways. And now I'm going to go into tools and lifestyle strategies for daily detox. I'm going to give you some that you can use right away. In your workbook, there is one statement that I'll always love to share that I was told by my mentor. And it states, if you're not detoxifying daily, you are retoxifying daily. All right. That really stuck with me. If you're not detoxifying daily, you're retoxifying daily. So do what you have to do in order to keep all of those systems moving along nicely, churning well. And the main detox organ in your body is the liver. Okay, so the liver is something you really want to focus in on. So, tools and strategies: 2 to 3 liters of water a day, certain herbs for your kidneys. We talked about dry brushing, we talked about hydrotherapy. If you cannot sweat, right? I know that a lot of you guys cannot sweat because of so many reasons why. Um, there's a lot of reasons why we can't sweat when we have chronic inflammation going on. And especially with thyroid issues. Go to the sauna. Go to the sauna and sweat it out. Exercise, the deep breathing. For your lymph flow, consider a lymph massage, right? For your skin, consider a clay mask, or consider an underarm detox with charcoal, right? You can also do castor oil packs on your liver to help your liver detoxify. So, all of these tools and lifestyle strategies are amazing. And if you start to incorporate those, you will see that your body is starting to feel better. General detox rules: keep in mind that all of this is very individual, and whatever, some of those might not be the right fit for you, but I will give you some examples of what you can do. The body's always detoxifying. That is true. It's always detoxifying every minute of your day. There is no one right way to detoxify. It works, everybody is different. What works for one doesn't work for the other. However, there's many wrong ways. There's many wrong ways. One wrong way is if you going on a full on liver cleanse, like with herbs and a diet and like detox cleanse kit and all of that kind of stuff, and you're not able to purge and have a regular bowel movement, you are going to run into trouble. You are going to be retoxifying your body in such a way that it can cause you severe issues. Okay. Because you are releasing a lot of toxins, but you're not purging them. The sicker you are, the more inflamed you are, the slower your detox pathways are. Detox is a marathon, it's not a sprint. Okay, so you need to start doing it and you have to be consistent. Okay, reduce the toxic load, like we talked about. Increase liver loving foods, which you can always do some research around what are liver loving foods, and make sure that you increase your excretion. Make sure that you can go to the bathroom. That's the number one thing that you have to keep in mind. Okay, um, so that you can really get rid of the waste. All right. Okay. Detox dietary basics. So again, infrequent foods. Again, this might look different for everybody because we're all different. So take this with a grain of salt, or whatever works for you. So lots of water, protein, so that we give our bodies the building block to rebuild our cells that are being damaged through chronic inflammation. That can come as meat, but there's also lots of vegetable protein that you can eat, right? Talked about fiber a lot. We talked about oils. Not so much, but oils are important. Nuts. Then some of the therapeutic foods that I really, really love are green tea, pomegranate juice, cruciferous vegetables. And this might be an issue for a lot of you guys in here, depending on how your gut is working. So I see a lot of issues with cruciferous veggies, but don't throw them out the window. Just cook them in a different way. There's lots of herbs and spices such as garlic and onions and beets and berries that are super helpful for your liver and to support your detox. And I also love juices. Juices are really, really nice to help get the nutrient density into your system very quickly without using up too much of your digestive power, which, you can use beets, you can use carrots, tomatoes, and celery, and green leafy vegetables. So those are all really dietary basics that are supporting the detox functions in your body. And this is it, ladies. So, this is what I was going to share with you. And I think that was a lot of information for you guys that I shared on day 2. Let me just check if there's any questions, any aha moments, anything that you want to share with me today. And if you watch this in the replay, please, because I know that this time is not working for everybody, do me a favor and put in the comments what you think. If there was any aha moments, if there was anything that you weren't aware of, or if some pieces of the puzzle came together for you, I would really love to hear. So, as for the homework, um, I want you to brainstorm. I want you to write down in the chat, um, do a chemical inventory and see and eliminate the sources of toxins that are coming into your house, into your body. Do brainstorming and think about, am I detoxifying my body daily, right, on all levels that we just discussed? And if so, wonderful. Put in the chat what you're doing exactly, and maybe for each system. And then if you don't, then write down what you can do. I gave you so many ideas and tips and tricks, what you can do in order to increase your daily detoxification. All right. Um, I have comment here, adding cauliflower to smoothies is a wonderful way to get cruciferous vegetables in. Yes, that is a very good way of getting cruciferous vegetables in. So it breaks down the fiber and it can really help with digestion, right? And even if you want to take it one step further, even if that is too much for you to digest, because it's the chemicals in it that sometimes triggers us. The specific nutrients in the cruciferous vegetables is boil it down before you put it in the smoothie. That can even help you more. So do your homework. I'm gonna get out of my screen here. Hold on, so I can talk to you in person. Hold on, here we go. So remove this. Okay, do your homework and share with me like you did yesterday what was resonating with you, how much you've learned, what you can implement. And again, if you want to take this one step further, if you want to sit down with me and kind of like brainstorm your situation, I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. I offer these 15-minute sessions to everybody in the seminar so that you can really start your journey today, right? So it is possible to get out of the overwhelm. It is possible to get out of the symptoms that we're experiencing. The symptoms is your body telling you that there are imbalances. So you need to start to take responsibility and you need to start to balance out those imbalances, really bring in the food and increase your detoxification pathways, deal with the stress management, which we'll be talking about tomorrow, and yeah, and create that healthy mindset around it. And if you do this, I can promise you that your body is starting to shift, that you will see changes in your health happening if you're doing it consistently, and with the tools and strategies that you're learning here. It's a very powerful seminar. I'm so happy. I'm not holding anything back, right? So I'm giving you a lot of details. I'm giving you a lot of information that you can use right away. So if you want to take this a little bit further and brainstorm around it, there is the free call with me, no strings attached, 15 minutes, having a conversation, and maybe get you started on your own journey, right? And having a really good sense of how you can integrate these things. So I hope this was helpful for you guys, and do the homework. You now know that the giveaway is an amazing product. So the Microbiome Lab prebiotic powder as well as probiotic, super great product that I'm giving away. Put in the homework, and I will see you again tomorrow here at 10 a.m. Eastern, where we talk about stress management. We talk about how to support your adrenal health, which is also a critical pillar. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, and I will see you again very soon. Have an amazing day.